All right, so I wanted to make a quick video to recap the IADMS annual conference that I just returned from. For those who aren't familiar, IADMS is the International Association for Dance Medicine and Science. It's a really incredible organization that brings people together from across the world and across professions, all in this specialty area of working with dancers. That means that we have folks who are, like myself, physical therapists, physicians, chiropractors, psychologists, dietitians, sports and conditioning coaches, dance educators. I mean, the list can go on and on of the types of folks that are there. And again, from all over the world. We have opportunities to learn from one another, to network, to form friendships, create future collaboration opportunities, and it is just such a great time overall. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing some highlights along the way to hopefully inspire you to join us at a future conference. So to kick us off, this was just a cool, spontaneous performance that I came across in the Toronto airport at this art installation. A choir made up of several young men who just decided to do a little performance. So this was my first stop along the way. Rimini was a little bit of a challenge to get to, but was definitely well worth it. I took 2 planes, a bus, 2 trains, and a taxi to get to my final destination. So once I arrived, this is what I arrived to. I got there at the tail end of a 3-day festival in town, and the place I was staying at was right in the center of it. I had a chance to see, even from my window, things like these incredible stilt performers dressed up as clowns and playing drums. There were other bands that were doing, marching through town, stages that were set up with various performances, both music and dance, and then all of these different vendors for food and other things. And it seemed like everyone from town was out. I'm pretty sure they were. It was a great way to kind of get a taste of the city in a very concentrated way right outside my door before getting to explore a little bit the next day. So it was a great way to arrive and just kind of get an experience already. So then I had one day to explore town and just kind of get adjusted to the time zone and whatnot. So if you're ever in Rimini, I would highly recommend doing some of the sightseeing there. Some incredible places like the Surgeon's House, that is a very complete finding from hundreds of years ago. The City Museum, quite frankly, is probably one of my favorite museums that I've been to in a very long time, covering all the way from Paleolithic man to about the 1800s, with fantastic explanations of things. And I mean, it was so cool to go through. And then this bottom picture here was from a library that is there in town. So it's just the city library, but there's a section that's the historic library. This is actually made up of books from 15th, 16th, and 17th century. There's another room that has 18th century, and you have to be let in and escorted as you go through. So I was looking for it, asked somebody at the desk, and they said, "Oh, would you like to see it? We'll let you in." And it turns out that I got to be in there by myself for as long as I wanted to check out these books. And it was definitely giving some like Beauty and the Beast library vibes, which was amazing. So some incredible things to get to go see if you ever are in the area. And got a little taste of town also walking around. It was market day, so dozens of vendors set up in the streets. Streets were blocked off where you can buy clothing and food and all kinds of different things from folks who set up on a weekly basis around town. So that was another kind of cool experience to have there as well. There also were excursions. That's another thing I'll kind of talk a little bit more about. I spent an afternoon doing that, but then the conference itself started, hosted at the Palacongressi in Rimini. This was a really beautiful venue that had some incredible conference spaces that were perfect for what we were doing. And I mean, that's one of the things I always love about this conference too, is that we have some really great venues that we get to use. We start off with opening remarks, getting to see who all of our board members are, getting introduced to how things are going to go over the next few days by the IADMS president, who is currently Dr. Kathleen Davenport. And then one of our keynote speakers, Francesco Flumiani, he talked to us about the life cycle of a ballroom dancer, really sharing some of his personal experiences throughout his career, things that he has faced himself, ways that he has pivoted to keep his career going, and letting us know about some of the challenges that people who are professional ballroom dancers may face. Then I've taken pictures of almost all of the sessions that I attended. I know I missed a few, but we got to talk about so many incredible topics. And they're in all kinds of different formats as well. So we talked about things like hypermobility, ways to do different taping. This was the second incredible keynote speaker, Antonio DeFano, who is a breaker and a researcher in the area. So he did a really fantastic job of kind of setting the stage, understanding some of the history and culture of the dance style, knowing some of the challenges and vocabulary and that kind of thing that are key to understanding the style, and then presenting some of the research about it. I found that this was a really effective way to share about a dance style that maybe is underrepresented, doesn't have a lot of research and that sort of thing. So whether it's something like breaking or West Coast swing, something that I'm definitely interested in, it was just a really fantastic way of presenting the information to folks. So definitely an inspiration for me as well. Then we had so many different sessions. You can see we had movement sessions, lectures, demonstrations, panels, talking about using biosensors, the effects of soft dance shoes. I mean, so many different things that we covered. Lots of things on hypermobility this year. Talking about pelvic floor function. You name it, all kinds of topics were covered across different dance styles as well, and from, again, all kinds of different professionals and experts. One evening there also was a dinner and dance performance where they showed this local version of an Italian polka. These were champion dancers, by the way, who were doing this for us. So much fun to watch. Definitely felt a little dizzy just watching them with as much spinning as they were doing. And then also got to see this, a local type of whip performance. One thing we can't appreciate in this video is just how loud it was. But talk about a great way of getting a taste of the local culture and traditions by doing something like this. And something like this is something that happens every year as well. So there's always some sort of like dinner or dance performance that you can sign up to go to as well, in addition to some excursions and other ways to get to just socialize with people at the conference as well, not just go to the sessions, which are all incredible, but also just forming some of those relationships with people too, which is so important. More sessions, again, about all kinds of different topics. I know I missed some, but got to see some pretty cool things, and even had this talking about inverted rehab for folks who do things like circus and aerial. And the presenter actually was doing some of her presentation while inverted herself. So that was another fun way to learn through some of these different sessions as well.
And just like that, it's done.
So then we had the end of the conference, and it's always so sad to say goodbye to everybody. Like I've mentioned several times in the video, the relationships that you get to build, I think, are one of the most sort of meaningful things that come from attending this conference every year, on top of all of the amazing education that we get by going to these presentations by experts in their field, all working to support dancers. So whoever you are, if you're in this space of dance medicine, dance science, or dance education, I would highly recommend that you check out this conference at some point. Next year, it's going to be in Las Vegas, so that's 2025. And then 2026 is in Melbourne, Australia. We'll be finding out upcoming locations as they become available, but they always do 1 year in the US and 1 year outside of the US. So at some point, if you have an opportunity to go, I would highly encourage it for sure. And it never hurts to enjoy some of the local sites and exploring a little bit while you're there as well. So I hope this inspired you to attend an upcoming conference, and hopefully I will see you at one soon.